down.
This is comfortable.
So what is he here? So when's it going to start?
It's starting. We are rolling right now.
Why don't you say something?
Why not?
Because I'd like to know when the camera's on me.
But sometimes you act different when the camera's on. So I figured I won't tell you.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're here to talk about the NBA playoffs. Pretty exciting. It starts Saturday. Some interesting matchups.
Well, I don't know. Well, first of all, one thing I do want to say is that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player to have ever played the game.
And that has something to do with the playoffs. How?
Well, just because when I think of playoffs, I think back of Chicago Bulls many years in the playoffs, and I think of Michael Jordan.
Okay, I respect that.
The Cavs match up
yes.
with the Pacers is going to be very interesting.
Well, besides the fact the Pacers are going to get swept in 4. Easy.
I don't know if they're going to get swept in 4. I think they may scrape a game out.
1 game?
Yeah, I think they might get a game.
The only game they really won this season is when LeBron James was not playing.
Well, I still am not going to say they're going to get swept. I think they've won like 5 straight in a row. I think that they have some really good players. Paul George will be a very good matchup with LeBron.
The one and only.
But I think
Dallas.
Yeah, I just think that the Cavs are gonna.
Well, the Indiana Pacers also got Lance Stevenson back. That's a pretty big guy for them. Yeah. He's been making an impact, which could be contributing to why they won 5 in a row.
Oh, well, I still say, like I said, the Cavs are still going to come out on top.
On the East, yeah.
In that game. And then, as far as the Celtics playing the Bulls, even though the Bulls and Celtics had a pretty good season together, I think they both won 2 games each.
Yes, they did.
Throughout the regular season. I still think the Celtics, being that they were on top of the Eastern Conference this year. They did beat out the Cavs for that spot.
And look what Brad Stevens has done in that organization. They barely even went through a rebuilding phase.
They didn't. I love Brad Stevens. I mean, he coached Butler in those few years. 2 years in a row, he got Butler back to the finals, and they lost. But he's been a great coach for the Celtics. I think they need to get a few more guys on that team, and then maybe in the near future they can.
I think they got a pretty good roster.
Well, they do, but I'm still going to take the Celtics over the Bulls.
You have to. I mean, that's gonna be a close one now. I think if there's gonna be any upset in the playoffs right now, it's gonna be the Bulls and the Celtics. I might be biased, but I think that the Bulls still do have enough pieces, and something about them this season, they always play pretty well against good teams, and then they lose to the teams that are really bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll get in playoff mode. I don't know.
I still think that the Celtics are going to win. I'm still going with the Cavs to win the Eastern Conference, to get into the finals. I still think that LeBron James, for all you haters out there, sorry for this, but I still think that LeBron James is the best basketball player playing the game today. I would love to see again a Cavs-Warrior matchup in the final, which I think is going to happen again.
So do I.
And I know we've been going back and forth every other year. It's this turn, that turn, but I still think overall the Cavs will win it again with a healthy Cavalier team, with Kyrie Irving, with Kevin Love, with some of their guys now. I love Deron Williams. That was a great pickup for them.
It really was.
Even
though you know what I say about him, I can't say it on camera.
No, but from the Illini, I love Deron Williams. Hopefully Kyle Korver
can step up. They need him to step up. They need those 3-pointers.
So
him and JR.
I'm going to say that on the other side, that the Warriors definitely are going to beat the Trailblazers.
Oh, for sure.
You know, I know Damian Lillard. I like him.
I like the Portland Trailblazers. I think, they just missed it last year. They were really hungry to make it into the playoffs this year. They got by just in the nick of time. You never want to leave that up to another team to make that choice for you, whether you're going to be in the playoffs or not. Right. So they wanted it. They were hungry, and I like the Trailblazers. I think they have more of a chance to at least get one game out of the Warriors than the Pacers do the Cavs, for whatever reason. I don't know what it is.
Well, I still also think too, on the other side of that, now with the Spurs
Oh, the Spurs
playing
and Memphis.
the Grizzlies.
That'll be a good one.
Coach Pop, is this what? Is it like 20th?
20th consecutive season making it to the playoffs, yes.
I mean, they're amazing. They had a.
Well, LaMarcus Aldridge, that was a great pickup for them.
It was.
If he was still on the Blazers, they'd be in a better spot right now, hands down.
I agree. I love Kawhi Leonard.
How can you not? I mean, that guy's up in the running for the MVP this year.
Exactly.
Don't think he's gonna get it, but he's been great for them. I mean, not just offensively, but defensively. He does it on both ends of the floor.
He does, and I like that the two Gasol brothers are going to be
Yep.
going at it against each other.
That'll
I
be
think
fun.
that's going to make it an interesting series. Again, I think the Spurs are going to come on top of the Grizzlies.
Yes.
And I think we're going to see a Warrior-Spurs final
Yes.
as well in the West Conference.
I hope.
I think the Warriors and Cavs are definitely going to have their rematch.
So it's going to be, I mean, some people aren't taking the Warriors to come out of the West. It's interesting because Kevin Durant, you know, when he first got into the mix and he first got there, the dynamic, people weren't sure how they were going to gel. And it took some time. It took, you know, a couple games for them to kind of get into a rhythm. They started clicking.
And then he got
And
hurt.
then he got hurt. And then I think now they've won 15 of their last 16 games, but he didn't come back until last Saturday.
Right.
And Steph Curry was out. So
Right.
you got Steph Curry out with some injuries, and then Kevin Durant was out with some injuries. So it's kind of an unfortunate time for them to all kind of come back into the mix because you don't know how they're going to gel and how they're going to be able to.
But you
to
also
mix.
have the Cavs who've gotten all these people now on their team, and they all have to start gelling. I mean, they have a lot of very, very good players all trying to play together.
Yeah.
Also on this team.
And injuries.
So
J.R. Smith was
it's-
injured. Kevin Love was injured. So
Yes.
we have a lot of teams that are kind of
You know, I
banged up
feel
right now.
a healthy Warrior team against a healthy.
Well, I don't
Cavalier
think. I think
team?
healthy is a little bit too strong of a word.
Well,
I think you got to use the word somewhat healthy, but a little banged up.
but besides that, that is my pick for the final. I really think the Cavs are going to repeat. I think they're going to win again this year. LeBron James seems like he's just getting better in his age.
Isn't that
He's not
crazy?
slowing down anytime soon.
No. So
He's
then
a
where
great
do you put that?
athlete.
So I know you were talking about Michael Jordan being the best all time. So
As of right now.
As of right now. So I like the fact that you still leave it open because LeBron James is not done with his career yet.
Exactly.
So anything can happen. This guy can still win 2 or 3 more rings. He could be an MVP of an NBA season. We don't know.
He is a long
This
way
guy
to
is
go.
capable of doing anything.
He can
and
play until he's 40 plus years old.
He's that
Just
great
like
of
some
a
of
player.
these other guys.
He has great genetics, the athleticism, everything. So what would it take for you to actually say LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan and the best of all time? What does he have to do to make you, a Chicagoan, believe that and change your mind?
I feel that he needs to be more of the team leader like Michael Jordan was.
And not complain
and
all the time.
Step up to the plate no matter what. Michael Jordan never missed a game. He played sick one year in the playoffs. That was amazing. But I'm kind of going to wait and see. He still may, because he is young, he might get a few more rings. But as far as right now, that's what it's going to take for me to say he's the greatest of all time.
Well, do you base a winner off of statistics or off of rings? What do you think's more important? Because rings
I
kind
look
of
at the statistics
it should
because
be
that's
more
your
of the
own
statistics.
personal achievement.
Exactly.
Whereas
I
a
agree.
ring comes from a team.
I agree.
Together. So as far as that goes, I'm still going to stick with the fact that I love Michael Jordan. I think he was a great guy.
Somewhat.
The matchup
That's most intriguing.
between the Rockets
That's the most intriguing matchup.
and the Rockets and OKC. What I'm going to say about that is you got Russell Westbrook and James Harden, the 2 MVP contenders going at it against each other.
Yep.
I still think the Rockets will come out on top in
Yeah.
that series.
Mhm.
And Russell Westbrook should be named the MVP because he made history this year, and that is what MVP is all about.
Why are your hands like this?
And I love Russell Westbrook, and it's a shame that he really doesn't have a whole lot to play with on his team.
He doesn't, but if you think about it this way, he wouldn't even be up for this award if he did have Kevin Durant back in the mix. If he still had Kevin Durant and James Harden, all the wealth would be dispersed.
That's very true.
And he wouldn't even be up for this award right now. And
Right.
to actually witness the things that he's doing on the floor this year is incredible. I mean, this guy just does stuff with his body that I've honestly never seen before. He's grabbing rebounds over bigger guys. I mean, he's leading in scoring, triple-double. I mean, making history, and it is unfortunate that he's not going to go very far in the playoffs because we all know, yeah, getting an MVP award is great. Getting these awards is great, but you ultimately want an NBA championship.
It's very true. So my question to you is, I just said that I think the Cavs are going to win it all. Who do you think is going to win it all this year?
It's a good one. Well, I think it's good that the Warriors are in the position that they're in right now in terms of getting these guys back into the mix and seeing if they can all gel together because they're playing against a Portland team who is a good team. They deserve to be in the playoffs by a game, but they're not great. So I feel like this is going to give them time to kind of gel. And even if they give up one game, it's still one game. It's a best of 7. So I still feel like they're going to have time to figure things out. And I think they're going to be able to come out on top in the West. I think it's going to be tough, though, because the Spurs, they're still a force. I swear, Popovich can get rid of everyone on that team, and he'll bring in a whole new group of guys that can all gel together.
That's true.
So he just got something going on with that organization that's just incredible, like I've never seen before. So I do want to take the Warriors. Do I see a potential upset? I do. More so on the West than I do the East. I think everyone's overreacting in the East with the Cavs. Oh, they started playing bad toward the end of the season.
Right.
They weren't even thinking about these games. They don't care about the 1 seed. They don't care about the 2 seed. They're ready for the playoffs.
True.
Playoff mode, playoff mentality, and that's that. So I'm going to I want to take the Warriors this year.
Okay.
I really would like to see Kevin Durant win a ring, and I would love to just see that whole organization win again. But I don't know. I mean, I think I think this year it's not as clear cut who's going to win. Just based on the injuries alone and based on the strength, I think, in both conferences, I still think that anything can happen.
Well, that's true. Anything can happen. These are all professional players. And, like I said, sometimes injury happens in the middle of a playoff. You lose somebody.
Yep, anything can happen.
You never know.
We know a lot about injuries.
As I said before, I'm just gonna go with the Cavs to repeat again. I really see it. They have a great coach. And as I said, Coach Popovich also, he coaches a great team in the Spurs.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I love Steve Kerr. So, I'll be happy with whoever wins, but if I had to pick which one, I will be going with the Cavs. And do you think Russell Westbrook's going to get it?
MVP?
Yeah.
I do. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, whether or not they think Kawhi deserves it. I mean, James Harden is he's close. A lot of people think that he deserves it in terms of being a true leader to his team. So I understand why they're choosing him based on the record alone. But I think he has more pieces around him. When you think about it this way, they have a new coach, and that coach did everything for them this year. I mean, that was just a great fit for him. And they also have potentially the 6th man of the year on their team, and Eric Gordon. And my phone keeps going off, but it's okay. But they have the 6th man in Eric Gordon. So they potentially could have the 6th man of the year, coach of the year, and the MVP all on their team if James Harden should win it. But I think it has to go to someone who's been the most valuable, and I feel that, like we mentioned before, Russell Westbrook doesn't have a lot of pieces around him. He doesn't have much around him.
He doesn't.
James Harden has way more. If you look at the entire roster, he has guys who can hit threes. He has guys who are good defensively. I mean, Russell Westbrook has to do everything, and I'm so sick and tired of people talking about, well, these players, like they call it stat stuffing, where all these players are getting out of the way so that Russell Westbrook can grab a rebound, da-da-da-da. But what about the opponents? How come he's getting rebounds over his opponents? If his opponents don't want him to get 10 rebounds and get a triple-double,
then they need to step
up to the plate.
Exactly.
So I don't get how that's stat stuffing. Because
no, I don't believe that.
First off, too, like when you pass the ball, these guys still have to make shots in order for you to get an assist, right?
Right.
So it's not just in his hands. I mean, he's doing everything that he can to get everyone around him involved and make players better. You know what, Russell Westbrook, got to give it to you.
I agree with that.
Yep.
So we both are going to go with MVP for Russell Westbrook, but Ashley's taking the Warriors.
I am.
And I'm going to take the Cavs. And it is going to be a great playoff season. So let the games begin.